Hello, friends, and welcome to War 6. In the words of the great Dave Mustaine, here comes the reckoning day. We're taking on gtnCR, Hellcat. I'm going to be going in with Void and Blade and Killmonger for a little bit of health because there is a Korg on my mini-boss path today. So first up is a 6-star unduped Drax, just to wet my whistle. My objective, as it always is in these first few fights in this section, is really just to finish with that nice yellow bar at the end. Drax actually was one of my first 4-star champs, and he sat forever unduped until just recently, I think, maybe a month or so. I finally pulled him again. I like him a lot, but didn't really use him that much early on because I had an OG Thor, and actually I chose Thor over Drax for one of my very first Awakening gems. I had a Cosmic one that I labored over for a while, and then I awakened Thor with it. So here, pretty simple fight, nothing too special, just, cycling the S1 as I can, getting that D-Gen up. From here, I'm hoping that he will die before Fear of the Void kicks in, but he doesn't. Fortunately, he throws that final S1, and I can go in for the kill. And I do get that yellow bar, and as you're going to see in a moment, it doesn't really help me. So we have what I thought going in was going to be a really, not too difficult fight. It's a 345 unduped Korg. So, not terribly powerful. He's about the same PI as the Korg that I fought in the previous war that I, got my butt handed to me by almost. So I did boost up. In retrospect, I feel like I probably should have used additional boosts. Going in with Void, again, a pretty terrible matchup. And right away, I have no idea what I'm doing there. I bait out the heavy, and for some reason I go in. Then I get parried. Then I get parried again. Then he goes unblockable and unstoppable. And then he, of course, nails me with the S1 that I have a lot of trouble evading. So 20 seconds in, and I'm almost half dead already. And to make matters worse, he pushed me past 2 bars of power, so I had to get the Dark Sting on instead of the D-Gen. And now the audio cuts out here. Sorry about that. It seems to be a known issue with iOS. So trying to recover as best I can here. I'm pushing him, when I can to an S2, get the intercept off there, trying to bait his S2. He's not cooperating. And then here my Dex doesn't work here. So still baiting right here. So my Dex doesn't trigger. He nails me with the S2. I get those 3 bleeds, and pretty much at this point, I know what's coming. It is just about over. So I'm, just desperately trying to stay alive, maybe long enough for the D-Gen. Nope, and then he nails me, and rip. So my first death of this season. Freaking Korg, man. So I'm trying to go in with Blade to clean up here. And of course, I bait out the heavy properly this time, and I'm pretty much playing perfectly with Blade for this fight because, of course, after that just embarrassing performance, and even here, look, I perfectly dodged the S1 for probably the first time in my life, bait out the heavy, and finally KO him. So just, I was so irritated with myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself to perform well in these wars, and even though that was my first death, and just really, really irritating. So, poor Dorm here on this next fight gets the brunt of my rage. I was trying to, not be so angry about losing that I was making additional mistakes. So, luckily, this fight goes really well, and I can kind of, collect myself again. Now this next fight I had expected to be a Korg as well. So there was 2 Korgs on the map, and I figured, maybe there's a third one. It is that Arc Overload node, so I was really debating here whether I wanted to revive Void and go in or just take my chances with Blade. Either one, not the best matchup for Korg, but in the end I decided to use up all these potions that I had, and they're all more or less free from the glory store, so it's not like I'm losing any money on them. So I heal up Void. My boosts are still active. from the previous two fights, and I'm happy to see that it is a Killmonger. So Killmonger's a fight that I feel very confident with. I do mistime this S1 here right away, so I'm like, oh, here we go again. So with Killmonger, I try to push him to his S2 where I can because it's a little easier to dodge. I'd much rather deal with indestructible charges than the unstoppable, the counterpunch charges. Mostly because I'm so used to just punching into a block to bait a special attack. So the fight is going pretty well. Trying to get the degen up as quickly as I can. I've got a petrify up right now, so the arc overload is almost, useless. I get all of 6 debuffs up. Fear of the Void's going to kick in, so I know at this point it's really just a matter of ensuring that his power doesn't get up too far, that he could accidentally get an S3. And I mistimed the S1 again there. It's twice in the fight. That time I pretty much get it, and Killmonger goes down. So last fight of my path is an Ultron boss. Good matchup for Void. I'm not going to push him to his S2 because his 1 is much easier to avoid. And the bonus with Void in this fight is, of course, like we talked about last time, the agility debuffs will pretty much completely eliminate his evade. And then when he gets his self-repair up, if the petrify debuffs are active, then I can kind of just wait it out. And I think at some point here, I do try and just wait out his self-repair just to see how quickly his health would go down. So I've got half of my debuffs here, including a petrify. I get the second petrify up right there. And I'm pretty close to 50% health on him here. So I'm hoping that this will knock him below 50. So he gets the self-repair up. And at this point, I'm just kind of watching his health tick down. And then, of course, Fear of the Void kicks in. So I have to go back into attack because the self-repair will just stop working at that point instead of being reversed from the other debuffs. But that's okay. I mean, it's just a pretty easy fight. I've fought Ultrons 100 times or more easily in war. Those uppercut heavy attacks from champs like that with that moveset are sometimes tricky because they come so fast. So other than the really embarrassing performance against Korg, it was a pretty good war. We did end up winning this war. So good war to you guys over in gtnCR. A bit of a Pyrrhic victory for me personally, as my perfect streak is over. But nevertheless, until next time, to you, the viewer, thank you for watching and have a great rest of the week.